always play for meaningful stakes. Basically, in the start of the Zurich Axioms, it's quoted that if you play for meaningful stakes, you're going to compound your fortune a lot faster. And as a matter of fact, in the very first chapter, it says that worry is not a sickness, but a sign of health. If you're not worried, you are simply not risking enough. And this is also very true in the world of business. Alan Bond, who had been previously a multi-billionaire here in Australia, was quoted from when he was asked, how do you start a business? Should it be a small one? Should it be this? And to which he replied, if you're going to start a business, start big. And the questioner said, why so? Well, it's because if you start big, you have the ability there to compound and get things going very quickly in your business. And you can actually make significant gains a lot faster if you've got a lot of staff, if you've got a lot going, a lot of action happening, rather than trying to start small and grow from there. Another person who was great at speculating is J. Paul Getty. Now, in the 19-teens, when the First Great World War was going on, J. Paul Getty was still not even 21, but he wanted to go off into the wildcatting oil days that were happening in America at that time. So essentially, he grew a small pile of cash that he could actually invest. Now, at the time, there were a lot of wildcat oil people out there, and they were selling shares to their various oil wells, and he could have easily bought shares in some of those oil wells and maybe made a few $100s out of his small pool of $500 that he had saved up from doing wildcat oil drilling as an employee. However, he wanted to go one step further than that. He wanted to actually have a significant stake in an oil well. So he searched around for a deal where he was essentially a major player, about a 30% or 33% player in somebody else's oil well, and he sunk his $500 into that particular deal. So he was only one of three people there that was in this particular speculation. Now, to his luck, that speculation paid off. In 1916, the first well on the lease hit pay dirt, more than 700 barrels of crude oil on that day. Not much later, Getty sold his interest for $12,000. So he took a $500 investment, and then on the other side, bang, he achieved, and this was very lucky on the very first hit, a $12,000 return on investment when he sold out his share on that particular oil well. He said, yes, of course I was lucky. He said many years later, looking back at the seminal adventure long ago, I could have lost, but even if I had, I wouldn't have changed my conviction. That was the right to take the chance. By taking a chance, a pretty big chance, I'll have to admit, I gave myself the possibility of getting somewhere interesting. The possibility, the hope you see, if I'd refused to take the chance, I would not have had the hope. He added that even if he had lost, he would have not been at the end of the world. He would have simply scrambled together some more money together and tried again. So he wasn't deterred by it all. He said, look, I'm prepared to go out there and find another oil well and sink in a big bet yet again. So it seemed to me, I seemed to win more than I lose, he reminisced. If I won, I would have various kinds of wonderful. If I lost, it would have hurt, but not that much. The right course of action seemed clear. What would you have done? So what can we learn from these examples? Probably one of the big things here is to bear in mind these are calculated risks that are taken where, in this one of the cases there, you might say J. Paul Getty didn't want to just be a mere shareholder in somebody else's asset. He wanted to take not only a meaningful stake and put down a decent amount of money, he wanted to take control of being in the position there where he was working with the company and actually working there as a rigger and so forth, which is what he had done for quite a while before getting to that stage when he was saving his money. So he had a calculated risk and he had knowledge power as well. So he had knowledge, he also had control over where his money was going, he was actively involved in the investment directly. So there's quite a few things there that we can take away from this. If you blindly invest in something and you're hoping for it to happen way over there, out of your control, beyond your arm's length, well, don't be too surprised if you only get a little tiny trickle back, or maybe nothing at all. When something is way over in the far distance, you don't have that control. But if you're taking a calculated risk, you have the knowledge of that particular investment area, and you have direct involvement, you're there supervising what's going on, and actually enthusiastically participating, you have a lot more control, and you're likely to get a better result. I guess the other thing here is the Alan Bond example is also another one, where he simply says, why bother starting a small business when you can start a big one on day one? As in, take a big risk. You know what you're doing. You know this particular area. You're not taking a gamble on something you don't know. So why not invest big as much as you possibly can at the start, and try for something there where you're going to create a result that will actually mean something to you and create a big change in your life. If you're only playing small, playing humble, playing risk-averse, don't be surprised if you get nothing back at all. Because usually if you risk the least, there's a pretty good chance that by being so risk-averse, you'll virtually zero out any potential return coming your way. And this is probably why the vast investing public rely upon other people to do stuff, because they're either too fearful or don't want to take the chance and don't want to, more importantly, educate themselves on how things work. And in the world of business, taking control and taking personal responsibility of making things happen is something you need to do if you want to get a meaningful result. That's what I learned from it. Check out the first chapter of the Zurich Axioms. I believe it's well worthwhile reading, and it sets the tone for where you need to go in your business and personal life. Don't put it always in the hands of others when you can put it in your own hands. Educate yourself and get into action and make something happen for yourself in a meaningful way where you really feel like, hey, wow, I made this happen and I took the responsibility. It's my win. That's what you want to say at the end of the day. This is David Newton speaking. Look forward to seeing you on our next video.